Michelle, thank you for joining us. Please provide a brief summary of yourself and your career path to date.
So my name is Michelle Sandford. I work for Microsoft. I've been in Australia for about 10 years now. Before Microsoft, I worked briefly for an Australian company called Programmed Group because I wanted to get a feel for the country and what it was like to be really Australian. Before that, I worked for IBM in Europe. And before that, I worked for Anheuser-Busch InBev, the largest brewer in the world by volume. I didn't start with them. I started with Whitbread, who were a smaller brewer, who were bought by Interbrew, who were bought by Anheuser-Busch. So, I think that you should work in a career that you love, and I thought that beer was something that people can believe in. So I loved working for them, and they did give me free beer 4 times a year in a box. And then after that, I moved into technology, which had been what I did my master's degree in. And I went IBM because it's a big, inspiring company that had done wonderful things. There's a couple of books that talk about them, Good to Great and Built to Last. Totally recommend those if you haven't read them. And when I worked for Programmed Group, the thing that I missed most was that big company culture, that global culture. And so I was looking for another place to land that was similar to that, and that I could feel that wherever I worked in the world, I could walk into a room, and if I met another person from that company, they would, in IBM, they would just turn to their friends and colleagues and introduce you as if they had known you their whole life, because they knew what it was to be an IBMer. And so when I found Microsoft, it was like coming home.
Please describe your company, what your company does, and your role in the company.
Okay, so my company is Microsoft. We are a large software vendor. We build the software, we sell the software. We sell services around it. We build bespoke stuff. We also own LinkedIn, and we own GitHub, as well as a lot of other. We own Xbox. So we have a lot of cool companies that are part of our brand. Where we came from was, a guy in a garage building a personal computer himself. And where we are today is really one of the biggest companies in the world. What I do is I am a service delivery manager. So when I first joined, they called us TAMs, Technical Account Managers, and today they call us Customer Success Account Managers. But essentially, I take care of customers. I make sure that what they've spent with Microsoft, they use so that they don't waste any of the money that they have spent, and that they use it well. They use it to move forward and to do bigger and better things more efficiently, and to enable their employees to be more productive and more collaborative, and to stop them focusing on super boring, tedious tasks, to free them up so they can do interesting work.
What are some of the important opportunities in your industry?
So right now, the most exciting opportunity is around data and AI. So I guess since the start of the internet, which was within my lifetime, when I was at university, there was no internet, and I had to learn everything from books. Can you imagine? But since the start of the internet, there has been more and more and more data building and growing. And on the one hand, that never used to be very useful because there's so much data there and it's unsorted, and how do you do anything with it unless you have someone that can read through every single thing and sort it? Each time, it's a bit cumbersome. Whereas today, with AI and with machine learning, that data can be cleaned, that data can be interpreted. You can do it with the help of humans, or you can do it separately, or you can do both. They say that for things like medical scans, it's better to use AI for those initial ones because humans get tired. Humans also are influenced by unconscious bias. They see what they want to see sometimes, whereas machines see exactly what you train them to see. And so if you tell them that this is what cancer looks like, then it will pick out the cancer in the scans. So that's exciting, all of the stuff that can be done with data and AI. There aren't anywhere near enough people trained or even in training today to do the work that there is out there. And where I talk about machines being able to pick up more of the work for us humans, that is absolutely true, but we still need so many more humans to do all of the work around it. And it's interesting work. It's, such an exciting field to be part of, and definitely one that is changing the world that we live in.
What does good performance mean to you?
Good performance is not about turning the dashboard green. I have a problem with the way that most schools teach, which is, to a curriculum, and there are right and wrong answers, and you are taught to, get as many ticks on your page as you can, avoid the red pen, and yes, things are right or they are wrong. And in life, well, life is a lot messier than that. And I think that by forcing kids to colour inside the lines, we are kind of restricting their creativity, and we are cutting down on innovation and growth and change. So good performance to me looks like, in order to make your boss happy, you probably do need to turn the dashboard green. You do need to get some of those boxes ticked. You do need to show that you are making your key performance indicators. But if you notice that there is one in there that is driving a bad behaviour, that you found a way to cheat the system and everyone else is cheating the system too in order to turn that one green, then you should call that out. You should show what that KPI is doing to the behaviour of yourself and the people around you. You should show that to your boss. You should give him the story so he can take that back up to the leadership and say to those dashboard people, we want to take that one out because that's not accurately measuring or driving good performance. It is corrupting the system. And don't just swallow it. Don't just turn it green blindly. Question, be curious, and don't be argumentative. But yes, bring your boss all the evidence, all the data he needs in order to take that upwards, and then he will. So yeah, to me, good performance is curiosity, a growth mindset, continuous learning, and not just following a script. It's trying to always, at all times, do the best thing for yourself, for your company, for your customers, and to always be moving forward one step at a time.
Explain the prevalence of unconscious bias in your company/industry.
So it's difficult because the thing about unconscious bias is that it is unconscious. When I worked at Programmed, the CEO told a story about how when his daughter reached the last 2 levels of school, she got to pick some subjects to specialise in, and she wanted to do mathematics as one of them. And she had always been an A student in mathematics, and it was her favourite subject. And her father was called into the headmaster's office to discuss the choices that his daughter had made, because the headmaster felt that choosing maths would be a difficult future career path for her, and that perhaps she should pick something more social sciencey. And he questioned why are you saying this when she's an A student? This is clearly her subject. And the headmaster said it was because, there were not many women working in hard scientific fields, and she's going to have a tough time of it out there being one of the very few. And he said, well, my son was a C student, and when he wanted to do maths, you didn't I wasn't called in here. What's that about? And he said, well, he would have to, he'll have to work hard in order to succeed, and maybe he'll fail, but that'll be on him. He won't have anything else. And it's, of course, much harder for women in tech, for women in science, for women in engineering, if it's not just how they are academically at things that holds them back, but if it's also the perceptions of the world around them. And if people are putting fear into their hearts before they even get started, then even more are turned away. And how can you ever get those numbers up if people are actively warning you against it before you've even set foot on that pathway? I guess the unconscious bias there is that people will try and protect you from stuff, and by protecting you, they also hold you back from that opportunity. In my workplace, what I saw recently was one of my account managers. He wanted to have a new person in one of the roles that reports to him. And we talked about it, and I said, you need someone strategic in there, someone who's going to have an overview across everything, is going to be able to talk to the high-level executives across all of those customers in that patch and provide a story that talks to the whole lot of them, rather than someone who's going to get into the technical details and be down in the weeds with all the operations people. And he said, yeah, that's absolutely what I want. And then he went through the recruitment cycle, and the guy that he picked in the end was exactly the same profile as the previous guy who had been in the role. A brilliant technical guy who interacts well with the technical people within a business, but he's not providing that over strategic level. And I said, why did you do that? Why did you pick exactly what you've always picked? And he said, I don't know. I mean, that's what, I interviewed him and checked all the requirements of the job, and, he exactly matched what we are recruiting for. And I said, yes, but if you recruit for exactly what you have had, you will get exactly the same as you have had. If you wanted to diversify your staff profile and you wanted to bring something completely different in, you cannot put the same job description out there, and you cannot have people in interviews looking for the same skill set and giving the same answers. And I think he still doesn't get what I was saying there, but yes, it's the very definition of insanity. If you do the same thing again and again, you will get the same results. And I don't know, people can't even see it, and that's unconscious bias for sure, when you can't even see what it is that you are doing.
What are some of the major hurdles you have witnessed in regards to unconscious bias that must be overcome to move forward?
Yeah, I guess it's a really tricky line all the time as a woman, in that I cannot be too assertive and confident without coming across as being bossy. But if I'm too quiet, then they'll think that I don't have the leadership skills required in order to do the job. You see we saw a lot of women in the 80s with the big shoulder pads, and, everyone called them a lot of names because they were strong leaders and they acted like a man in the workplace in order to make that progression. Now, I'm not prepared to do that, because I think that what makes a company strong is when everyone brings their own strengths to a role. Everyone performs in their best way in order to get things done. So I'm generally very friendly with all of my customers, and they trust me because I'm completely open with them. I suppose if there's someone else here who is, strong and decisive, they might trust them because they are speaking with such authority. But I think that they trust me more because I am so transparent. So I think it's a fine line to walk between being what you think people want you to be, being condemned for that, and also trying to find who you are and what your own strengths are.
In your opinion, what does it take to succeed in the world of business today?
Growth mindset. You need to be continuously learning. Like your degree, the degree that you get here is not enough. No one's going to look at that and be super impressed. If you don't have it, they're going to be even less impressed. That's true. But everyone's got a degree. Everyone's got a degree, and everyone's got some experience, and everyone's got, I don't know, maybe some extra vendor certifications or some volunteering experience, or they've written for their university newspaper, or they've organised a club or whatever. Everyone's doing everything these days. YouTube channels, they've all got YouTube channels. So yeah, it's not enough to just sit on your laurels. You have to keep doing stuff. You have to keep learning. You have to keep moving forward. You have to drive yourself and not wait for people to hand you things on a plate. And I would say make your default yes, not no. So if someone offers you something like, do you want to speak on this panel? Don't immediately think, I'm not experienced enough, I don't have anything to say, I'm too shy, or, they've got the wrong person. Just say yes first and then do the work. So don't just take the opportunities that come to you on a plate and accept that that's it. Do the work to make sure that you're ready for those opportunities as you say yes to them, and do them. Ask people around you for advice. Don't be scared. Don't let fear hold you back. And keep trying new things.
What is your best advice for new university graduates?
Ooh, I think I might have just moved into that one, didn't I? Yeah, it's that. Don't let fear hold you back. Say yes to opportunity. Ask people around you for help. Keep learning. Even in a situation where you feel really the world has turned against you and everything has gone wrong. So let's say you failed this course, you were kicked out of the university, you lost your accommodation, your boyfriend or girlfriend also dumped you. It's very tempting to just curl into a little ball and think about how unfair the world is and how everyone hates you and how you yourself are rubbish or the world is rubbish or, it's just a huge spiral. Do one thing. When you're in that position, do one thing that will take you a little bit out of the pit. So go and see someone and ask for their help. Go and talk to someone at the university about what you can do, see if you can make an appeal. Go and, talk to your landlord about kicking you out of your accommodation. Just do one thing, one small thing, and then tomorrow do another small thing. And just keep doing those small things until you find that you are not in that hole anymore. And you'll feel better for making a little movement, making a little achievement. And then the more you do, the more you'll find you can do. So yeah, the world is harsh and unfair sometimes, but move yourself forward and it will get better.
Michelle, thank you for your time.
It was fun.